Good morning, guys. This is Pandakwant, and today I would be going through the analysis for Nvidia stock. So before going on to the analysis, there are a lot of if and buts, like what's happening, what's not, whether we are in a bull run, whether we are in a bear run. Like people are struggling and trying to find out what's the answers for that. And like Nvidia, it's have been overvalued stock. A lot of people talk about it, but today, like I'm fully bullish on Nvidia. But why am I bullish on Nvidia? I'll just put in all the cases and like how the psychology of market works and how basically all of this thing starts to adapt. So start from the very first thing, right? So how is the psychology like? If you learn in and lean in, like how different psychology mindsets kind of plays into it, you will see the very first thing that I will just show is like if you look overall through the earnings, Nvidia has not missed a single earning for past how many years? Like if you count, there are a lot many years. I don't have subscription to TradingView, so you don't see that. But it's a long way. Like they have always been beating earnings, and that's why like their stock has been skyrocketing and whatnot. And then people are thinking that's still overvalued and what the hype and whatnot. So around June, around June, a news drops in that Nvidia something is there, something is not there, whether the AI and all of that bullshit. So what basically happens is that it touches the trend line, and this trend line has been drawn across months. It touches this, and then it kind of slowly is within the same range, like right, like 140, and then coming down to 100. Then again, it goes to 200, but 174. So I will show you like what the news was. So, like let's come over here, right? Like okay. So Nvidia, I think Nvidia beat the earnings, right? Like everything happened around like the timeline will start from 19th. So the world of finance is mostly run by the hedge funds. Hedge funds are the one who control the narrative. They have billions of dollars. Vanguard, State Street, and all other investors. They all know whatever strategy is being played right between the hedge funds. So all of these investors, they all know what's going on. They will have some or the other way of communication that we don't know. There is a lot of terminals which gives them access to what the big shots are doing, but basically everything is like a stock cannot always go up and down. It's always they have to manipulate it in such a way which looks useful for everyone, but I'll convey over here like why I'm saying that. So the earnings the earnings of November 20, the stock drops even if the earnings are beating. The very first thing is like a lot of people have put their money on the calls, and they have sold it at such a high premiums that you cannot even think about. Like those were sold at 70 IV or something. Right now all the IVs are at 35, so they had to collect the premiums. If imagine if the stock would have go all time high, they have to pay so much premiums, which none of the market manipulators will try to pay. They will hedge with some or the other uh, kind of maths that they are doing. But okay, let's start with this. November 20th, this guy, I think he has 178K followers. Okay, 141K followers. So he drops a bomb that okay, so Nvidia is not this and that is November 20th, right? Like November 20th, if we see Nvidia stock, uh, so yeah, just on earnings actually. So everything you are being played again and again, and this happens multiple times. So many people would have bet on the earnings, right? And then the stock crashed. And then everyone wants to be an influencer. They will just come out with an article. They know that people are hyped, and a lot of people have lost the money. They have frustration on the stock and all of that. So that is where all of these influencers come in. They will just put on some or the other plot to make you believe that what they are saying is correct, and because the stock is dipping, you kind of believe them, right? It's psychology, like it plays all together, and then they will convince you that how it is a bad stock and whatnot. And even at the top, like Michael Burry came out with something. I think it. I would have some posts, but Michael Burry also came out with something that, hey, this is happening and that is happening. Again, on December 1, we again, analyst shares 4 reasons. So that's how a manipulation kind of happens. I won't say manipulation, but that's how the strategy happens. One after another, there would be series of different analysts coming in and downgrading the stock because the very first thing they crashed the psychology at the very top because the stock dropped so much, and then again, like all of the different news kind of piles up and give this kind of a behavior, which is a bearish behavior. And it's very funny that right now AI is exploding everywhere. Whoever you are talking to, you talk to software dev, you talk to digital marketing person, you talk to any film producer or whatnot, everyone is using AI. I haven't seen a single guy using AI. Even I was taking an Uber yesterday. He had shown me so many things that he's doing with AI that even I don't know, like those things, what to even tell. So this is there. And then again, there would be this article, which is November 28th. Just look at the chronology. Like everyone around that time is saying it. The bulls strengthen to bear case to graph to make you think twice. So like everyone comes in because they want the hype, right? And then these all news also come in that Nvidia plans to cut in GE Force RTX production. So like DDR, there is a big discussion which is going on that the chips are not there. Like how to even have the RAM? Like how will they even produce? So all these kind of news are there. Imagine like if someone has already bought it out in 2026, like OpenAI and other those companies to kind of have their edge. They are buying out all the chips manufacturers, even all of those places. But I won't get into it. There is a video by Finance Lot. I think he gave a very good illustration regarding the chip shortage over here, which is happening. But these news kind of drop at the same time, right? They make you bearish at the same time they would be buying in bulk because this is a stock which is you're never going to see it in the same price, right? So, so this is another news. And then November 17th, again, there is one news which is Nvidia is involved in one of the more common frauds in the modern era, says the legendary investor who predicted the. He's again talking about Michael Burry, right? Like again, like there is no genius in this market. Everyone has their own sweet time. Maybe you are a genius, I'm a genius. Anyone can be a genius and can predict a housing crisis once in a while, but every time no one can predict the market in which direction it is going, right? You have to go on with the flow. But okay, so all of these things are there. Now you see, like I will talk more about in terms of valuation of Nvidia, how the valuation is and where I want to see it in future. So I would suggest everyone to read this article, which is Nvidia stock. I think it's December 17th, which is yesterday. And it's a beautiful article which explains like what is the opportunity in hand, what's the capex, and what is the pipeline, right? Like they have an impressive pipeline. In case I am a buyer and I want to buy something from some company. The very first thing is if I am a leader, I'm already impressed. I want to buy that. I know that there is no other who can do a better work, right? So these kind of things come into, but looking at this article, they explain the gross margins and whatever things are there. This is very important. Definitely a read to kind of have some more knowledge, right? And then we have, I think, this bearish news, which was Google and Meta stock, I think. Stock to compete with Nvidia chips. Yeah, right. So, so they're always talking about these things, right? Like imagine what they are trying to do is basically Google and Meta. They are gonna come together and they will build something on top of it. And like it never happens. It always falls apart. I think everyone knows the story of what Orkut was, and then Google came up with there's some. I even forgot the name of their social networking platform because Meta was already the leader, like Facebook was already there, and Google tried everything with Orkut and then their social media. but it does not work out. Why? Because they already have an edge. OpenAI, they are trying to compete with OpenAI. OpenAI already has an edge, and I really want OpenAI to succeed because there should not be a monopoly. Like Google has a monopoly and controls a lot of things. But I feel this should be a rhythm. Like complete monopoly kind of gains unnecessarily advantage. So that's one talk which is happening right there, and then they are talking about how to take over the business of Nvidia, which is making chips or smart designing chips. Nvidia has been there for like business. Like when I was a child, I feel I was playing games and everything requires Nvidia graphics card. And people kind of say, like, I will also show you a lot of people talking about AMD. I do not agree a single thing about AMD. Like, you cannot even compare AMD to Nvidia. Like, the moment I see this graph, which is like from last year, right? Like last year, how it is done. This does not make any sense. Nvidia has a lot of revenue and they have a lot of I would say they are the leader in graphics cards, right? Like they are the leaders. Their tech is altogether different. Nvidia is trying to copy their software stack, robust, making it more robust. But I mean, definitely how they competed with Intel, right? Like Intel was the thing, and then AMD became their own processors, and they are competing with Intel. But still, like both are on the edge, right? Right now, like Nvidia has definitely their CUDA and all those softwares. Like they have much higher advantage than what AMD has. AMD might have it, but think about it in this way that if you need to hire thousands of engineers, Nvidia has so much cash. Like I'm going to show you their balance sheet. They have so much money in their hand, and they are above all the different companies which are there in the SPY components. Why do you think they will not hire more intelligent, more bright people? So that's the thing. Like once you are in the race, you are competing with everyone. Like whoever will be the new engineers out of grad, the best minds will first try for Nvidia, then for any other company like OpenAI. And sometimes it's always also a dream, but ultimately it's also the pay compensation and all of that. And I would say Nvidia is like much on par with all the best companies which is out there. So, but nonetheless, like let me go on. So yeah, so like this is bullshit news, to be honest. They competing with Nvidia. It's very hard, first of all, and it's kind of a thing that you are looking to make a software which they have made in the last 10 years, and you are thinking that you're going to make in 2 years and it's going to be productive. That does not is not happening because Amazon made their own titanium chips. Amazon have their own chips. Google has their own TPU chips, right? Like still wide in the industry, most of them use Nvidia's chips. So those are questions are there. Like ultimately it's the software and the hardware design which kinds of powers everything. But definitely like Nvidia has its own advantage. But and to overcome that, what companies will have to do, I will also talk about that. Okay, so I will talk more in terms of their balance sheet and their statements. Okay, first of all, like look at the revenue, guys. Like it's crazy. Like they were 200% for 2 quarters, and then like 100%, 93, 77. But still, it's growing like a hell lot of different. Like it's crazy. Like that's $1 billion, and every time they are scaling up and up, and still the Q2 estimate was 55, and this time they still had more revenue than what it was. The percentage increase is much higher than what it was from the previous quarter, which is, and people are saying that AI is dying, but it is just getting started. Nvidia is going to come in with a lot of things. Also think about it as a iPhone. Like every year, like Apple, if we say that there is always an update that you need to do, right? Everything has a shelf life, a life. With iPhones, right? Like you can have iPhone 12, 13, 14, anything. But every year you kind of change it, right? Like it A- Apple has this thing where this is a business model, like every year you need to renew your AirPods, iPhone. If you want to, if it's not necessarily, you can use it for 2 3 years. But similarly for graphics card, they can also do that, like because every time the new technology comes in, they are more fast, and everyone who is using AI, like if I am a user, I want my results to be very, very fast. Otherwise, like, what's the need if I need to be faster? If I am a developer and I'm using your chips, and then my customer is someone else, but the person does not want to wait. He wants the answer very quick. So more computation needs are definitely needed, and the revenue is mind blowing. It's huge, and I will talk about why I'm saying it huge, because the stock price does not reflect what the revenue and profit they have. So from 300% profit to, like, from again like dipping into 71.30 and then 49 and again plus 60% profit. And then another thing which always is you need to look at is operating income, like how much income. But you can see like it's increasing from the past 2 quarters. It has been increasing, and it's a lot. Like um, these numbers do not look normal. These are very, very high numbers, and people are uh, folks think about the future, so these kind of things are still there. um, their net income, so net income also kind of increased. But okay, let me talk more in terms of, I think, EBITDA growth. So EBITDA growth, if you see, it's like 14 billion to 36.76 billion, which is like 64.50. And this is important because you are trying to see that after all the taxes and all of the income that they have, expenses removed, how much are they actually getting, right? So that number is also kind of huge, to be honest. Um, so these kind of financials, and every time you just see the slope of it, it's a crazy high slope. From like 30 billion, they are going more than 60 billion, which is like incredible, right? Like definitely, I would say just look at that, how the revenue is increasing, and the liabilities basically very less. Like if you see the growth overall, the liabilities are decreasing, their assets are increasing, which is a good thing for any companies. And mostly, if you see that the new AI companies or data center companies, they have like very high debt. They have so much cash, they have so much assets, and the liabilities also is not increasing as proportionate to the previous quarters, which is pretty bullish to me, to be honest. And then you can also see that what is year on year free cash flow. Like they have a lot of cash. What will they do with that? They'll just pile in engineers, and they would be, like, in case you want to scale and do good within the industry, they already are at par. Their stock prices already tells that, and they already can build a lot of things. They have a lot of software coming up. They had So they are not only selling the chips, but now they're only selling the also selling the software to everyone. So it's not just hardware is the revenue, but as a software, it's also the revenue. And they're thinking, I would say, in a right direction, but still, um, every earnings call we need to listen and kind of tune in into what new is coming up. And I am definitely sure they're going to have some of the other hype, and it's going to drive the stock even up. Now, we have seen a tremendous, okay, I have to first move this. Okay. So we have seen a tremendous rise from quarter to quarter. Um, I will just play from 2025 till now. We have seen incredible hikes, right? Like um, in revenue, in cash growth. But look at the stock price. Like it was at um, 127, and now it is at 174. How are we pricing that in? This is not a stock which is, like selling some children toys or something else. This is the AI. revolution we are talking about. This is where they are making, I would say, all of the work that we're doing. This is the major automation that I am seeing. I know that previously there were websites, people have to go into the store, buy something, but now there are websites, appointments, you can take it and all of that. Like, that's the rise of the internet. Everyone's need started to have websites so we can pay our bills online and everything. But now we are talking about even automating that, like whatever work I'm doing, everything AI can do it, right? Like, that requires a lot of knowledge, and that requires a lot of things. You can even, whatever I'm talking right now, that can be done through AI as well. I just put in my audio and I say to convert it to some other person or something. That's very easy, and like video editors can do it very easily through AI right now. So, that's what I'm saying. The possibilities are limitless right now, and the stock price does not show you the fair evaluation. This is definitely should be trading around like 200s or more than that. Like, if even if I just look at this, I think guys would be shocked. Okay, so if I pull in the forecast, like, people were showing that it's gonna be 432. I know that. I think I was in 2025 start or October or something. It was showing me that 1 year forecast was 430 or something, like, which is crazy, right? Like, already people are estimating, all the analysts are saying that we are going to go up. I would say a lot of people are saying that's a hype, but it is not. Definitely, I think we are in a place where we are seeing a different revolution altogether, and Nvidia is going to go much higher. I think next year targets for me would be $400 at least. It should be, because whenever any major thing comes into picture, like the AI models have come into picture, uh, Nvidia is the main shovel to dig the gold. So everyone needs Nvidia to revolutionize the world. And then US alone, like, controls the AI narrative. They are not. So imagine that if I have so it's always like no one wants a company to be unproductive, right? Like, everyone wants America to grow and then be the largest economy. For that, they need Nvidia. And if Meta and Google and all of those other children of US, they're gonna collide with each other. Hey, Nvidia is too expensive, I'm gonna make something out of it. It does not happen. Even, like, no one will let that happen. They can compete, but they cannot take away the total business. Otherwise, ultimately the losses of the US, right? Because they're not gonna, because everyone's fighting for the chips now. The other work that they were about to do, they would have revolutionized and gotten more money through other aspects. That's missing, and whatever part that Nvidia had to do is already doing, right? Like, you don't want to be uh, do a redundant work again and then try to optimize on cost. So yeah, so these are some points that I think of, but absolutely, like, it can change. I don't know, like, the stock can even go to $80 or something, but I have very high conviction that okay, so I was showing like Palantir before, but I have very high conviction that it's going to land like next year. We are definitely seeing 400. Um, we're gonna see humongous growth in models and everything. So now we have to talk in more in terms of the electricity needs, the scaling needs. Already, Nibius is the company, Iron is the company. So Nvidia already has made a lot of positions, right? Like, they have partnered with so many companies, so many data centers providers to already expand their business. So they have, it's a game of chess. They have all Nvidia has already laid out all of the pawns. Just, I think time will tell if all those pawns are in the correct place. If it is, I'm definitely eyeing towards 400. It's a must buy stock. You will never see it at such a great price, which is there. Thank you guys. I hope you liked my video.